What's up, y'all? I'm your host, Lil T. If you're familiar with the Five Nights at Freddy's series, you know how many characters the series has. Fuzzy ones, metal ones, rotting ones. So I thought it'd be fun to list the top 20 best characters from this series. And before we get into the rules, if you could just subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell, that would really help and it would mean a lot to me. Did you do it? I'm gonna assume you did and move on. Because I wanted to remain fair and impartial, I decided to rank every character on a few categories out of 10 and then find an overall percentage. These categories I chose were how good their design is, how scary they are, how iconic they are, how good their story is, and how good their voice is. And before you go saying, some characters don't have voices, sucks to be them. After I find the percentage, that'll be used to place them from best to worst. If there's a tie, I'll give it to the character I feel most deserves it. I didn't include any Security Breach or FNAF Plus characters because we don't know a lot about them yet, but be on the lookout for a sequel when we do. And even though I tried to make this as unbiased and fair as possible, these are still my opinions, and if you have a different one, that's totally cool. There's plenty of characters on here I personally wish would have gotten higher or lower, but because of the criteria I laid out, they placed where they did. I want to give a big thank you to my friend Jay for basically writing most of this script. I could not have made this video without his help, and you should absolutely check out his channel. Link in the description. I've wasted enough time, so let's just get into it. Delaying into 20th place, we have Vanny. While Security Breach hasn't been released yet, she wasn't help wanted, and we know a decent amount about her to give her a rank. This devious bunny rabbit has a terrifying design and voice. She has an interesting storyline, whereas she works at Fazbear Entertainment and is being taken over by Glitchtrap. And she's already pretty iconic, being one of the most important parts of the new storyline of FNAF. I'm super excited to see what becomes of her in Security Breach. See what I did though, delaying? Hanging out at 19th place we have Mangle. I cannot tell you how scary that thing was to see as a kid. Its design is good, which thankfully lives up to its name, being exactly that, a mangle of robotic parts. As I previously mentioned, Mangle is scary as hell, or at least was. And her iconicness along with everything I said gained her a high rank. Laying down a showtime at 18th place we have Freddy Fazbear. The man, the legend, the face of the franchise, Freddy Fazbear. How could you not love him? His design is great. He's scary at certain times, especially with black eyes. Everything about him is just a hard yes, and he's just so iconic. It's sad to put him this low, but there are just a ton of characters that are unfortunately better than him for many reasons. This is a classic example of when the student surpasses the master. Forming behind you at 17th place we have Nightmare Freddy. The first revealed character from FNAF 4, which got everyone hyped up. He's the perfect definition of he's a bugger in the game itself, just like his kids, but outside of gameplay, he's a god tier character. Everything ranging from his design to the level of his fear meter, and his voice is just delightful for anybody who likes scary things. What else can I say? Right, amazing character. Causing the bite of 16th place, we have Fredbear, the original animatronic aside from Spring Bonnie. This is what started it all. A couple of bullies, one child, and one spring-lock suit. We all know what happened. Everyone was crying, and because Fredbear is a spring-lock suit and spring-locks snap when they get wet, the mouth of Fredbear snaps shut, demolishing his frontal lobe. Flapping in at 15th place, we have Withered Chica. As you all know, she isn't scary in the slightest. In fact, she's the cutest animatronic of all. Okay, jokes aside, she's probably the most unsettling character of them all. That jaw could break me like a peanut. Need I explain more? Giving up Funtime at 14th place, we have Funtime Freddy. This double-decker buddy has a rather alright design, making up for the similarities he has to the other Funtimes. He's just a tad bit scary, which doesn't take away points, but his voice. Provided by Kellen Goff, this would be the most iconic voice from the series.
Well, hello again!
Earning a 10 out of 10 in the voice category. He's a really solid character. Again, just not relevant enough. Appearing in 13th place, we have Withered Freddy. This guy is such an enigma while also just being the best. Ranking a 10 out of 10 in all but 2 categories, he has such a cool design, even though he's just a modified Withered Freddy. He's iconic, he's scary, he's just one of the best characters in the series, but he doesn't have a voice, which is why he's unfortunately this low. Assembling in 12th place, we have Ennard. This pile of Linguini Metallicus is very probably one of the best FNAF characters out there. He's scary, which is quite surprising for a spaghetti clown. However, his design is not the best, especially not the best to represent exactly what he is. Come on, you're gonna tell me a bunch of robots disassembled themselves and it looks this clean? I don't think so. But Still a neat design. He sadly doesn't have a voice, which is disappointing for such an important character. Clawing our way to 11th place, we have Circus Baby. Possessed by the spirit of Elizabeth Afton, this circus freak clearly doesn't value family. When she was alive, she disobeyed her father by going to see him, and when she was inside Baby, she low-key ruined her brother's life by scooping her robotics inside of him and then leaving him for dead. But anyway, back to the actual animatronic. She has a lot of great design elements. To quote Mr. Afton, "She can dance, she can sing. She could with a built-in helium tank for inflating balloons right to her fingertips. She can take song requests. She can even dispense ice cream. But it tastes like remnant." Also she's kind of terrifying. We are now entering the top 10. Everyone here received amazing scores and are the best FNAF characters in the entire series. Just before we get into number 10, I would ask if you made it this far in the video to once again consider subscribing and ringing that notification bell, as it would really help out the channel and I'd really appreciate it. With all that being said, number 10 is Foxy. This old pirate fox is probably one of the most iconic characters of the franchise, only comparing to Freddy himself. I mean, just look around. Merch, toys, figurines, official artwork, almost everything FNAF related has him in it somewhere. He scored a 10 out of 10 for his perfect design, an 8 out of 10 because, my god, I will never forget when I saw him running down the hallway for the first time. A 10 out of 10 for iconicness, which should be self-explanatory. A 2 out of 10 for storyline because he doesn't overly have much of one. And a 9 out of 10 for his incredible voice, earning an overall score of 78. Ranking in at number 9 is Scrap Baby. Scott must have been like, let's take Baby, right, and put her through a meat grinder. This is probably the most complex design in the series. There are so many flippin' things here. I also love how some parts of her are built from things that were in sister location, like these lights, for example. Besides that, she's just terrifying. Those eyes, the claw, the crazy pigtails, even the roller skates. He scored an 8 out of 10 in design, an 8 out of 10 in fear, a 6 out of 10 for iconicness because she is in the most forgotten FNAF game, an 8 out of 10 for storyline because she's a form of Baby, of course she's high in story, and a 9 out of 10 in voice because once again, any form of Baby has an astounding voice, earning an overall score of 78. Ranking in at number 8 is Nightmare. Listen, I do know that this is mostly a reskin of Nightmare Fredbear, but I don't care! He remains one of the biggest mysteries in the entire series. Look at him, he's glorious! The black and yellow color scheme is so appealing, and I mean look at those teeth. He's presumed to be a representation of the Fredbear bite, magnified in Evan's mind. He scored a 10 out of 10 for design because obviously, 10 out of 10 because I think I've soiled a couple pair of pants because of this guy, 9 out of 10 for iconicness because he's arguably the face of this game, and an 8 out of 10 for his twisted voice, earning an overall score of 80. Ranking in at number 7 is the Puppet. Good old Stringy over here remains one of the most iconic designs in the series. If you forget to wind that music, boy, rev up those fryers because you are in for a surprise. Its design is quite a simple one, but so memorable and iconic, and the tears streaming down its mask was an amazing example for a prime clue as to who is possessing it. And its storyline is just so sad and heartbreaking, I can't even explain. She scored 9 out of 10 for design purposes, an 8 out of 10 for unexpected bathroom breaks, an 8 out of 10 for its iconicness, a 10 out of 10 for its very sad reality, and a 6 out of 10 for its voice, earning an overall score of 82. Ranking in at number 6 is Molten Freddy. What did I say for Scrap Baby? Just paste that here, same concept. Taking Funtime Freddy and turning him into Molten Freddy. Molten Freddy is the remains of Ennard except for the spirit of Elizabeth, which was Baby, who was then somehow outed from Ennard as Scrap Baby. His design is just a head with iron fettuccine below him. He scored a 7 out of 10 in design, a 7 out of 10 in fear, an 8 out of 10 in iconicness, 9 out of 10 for storyline because, come on, I shouldn't have to explain, and a 10 out of 10 for voice because he's just Funtime Freddy, but better, earning an overall score of 82. We are now getting to the top 5. Brace yourself because it's getting awfully salty in here with all these opinions. Ranking in at number 5 is William Afton, the perfect example of the cycle of life, but also one of the more beloved characters in the franchise. Our favorite serial killer, our favorite dad, and our favorite child decimator, Purple Guy. Third most iconic character of the series. He doesn't really have a design, thus the name, Purple Guy.
I mean, unless you want to count the book design, in which case it's okay, but like this is the main series, so if we're going to count the books, that's going to be like a whole different can of worms, but I'm just going to stick with the regular sprite design. Okay, bye.
He scored a 6 out of 10 for design, even though he doesn't have much of one. He's the most iconic sprite from the series. And he also has the book design, so I'll let it slide. A 6 out of 10 for fear because his main target is children. I'm a child. A 10 out of 10 for iconicness because he basically started this whole thing. A 10 out of 10 for story, I should not have to explain, and a 10 out of 10 for his voice. It fits so well and was also one of the first main character voices, earning an overall score of 82. Ranking at number 4 is Withered Bonnie. My god, I love this robot. This is my favorite FNAF character, and there's basically nothing wrong with him. His design is impeccable, the voice is incredible, he's a friggin' comedian, he makes puns about his missing face, he is on another level. He scored a 10 out of 10 in design, an 8 out of 10 for fear, I mean those red eyes, his jump scare, everything about him, an 8 out of 10 for iconicness, a 7 out of 10 for storyline, I mean he lost his face, and an 8 out of 10 for his voice, earning an overall score of 82. Coming in at number 3 is Nightmare Fredbear. Since this is just Nightmare but less scary, I'm going to skip most of the explaining part and go straight to the scoring. His design is a 10 out of 10 for reasons I'll mention in a second. His fear meter level is 10 out of 10, I mean look at him. Everything from his face to his belly jaw. He's got me looking behind myself every 2 seconds while recording this. He gets a 9 out of 10 for iconicness, a very memorable character. He gets a 5 out of 10 for storyline implications, as said with Nightmare, he's just a reflection of what happened to Evan that day. And a 7 out of 10 for its chilling voice, gaining an overall score of 82. Ranking it at number 2 is Golden Freddy, the one and only. If Freddy is the face of the series, Golden Freddy's the face of the franchise. He was the first Easter egg in the entire series. He's not just a lore fountain, he's a lore waterfall. His design is so simple yet so frightening. I haven't even gotten to the best part. The story behind this guy is insane. Keep in mind, like everything else in this series, nothing has been confirmed, so I'm going to go off the most popular theories. Thanks, Matt. He's possessed by Evan Afton, the bite victim, and Cassidy, one of the 5 murdered children. However, Cassidy wasn't just going to relax in her animatronic body. No, she was going to get revenge. Once everything had blown over and everything had gone to rest, Cassidy kept William from going to hell because that wasn't enough for her. It was too easy. She kept him alive so that she could torture him with the things that he created in his own personal hell. He scored a 9 out of 10 for design, an 8 out of 10 for fear. I mean that original jump scare was terrifying. A 10 out of 10 for iconicness and storyline, I do not need to explain. An 8 out of 10 for his voice because that Night 5 phone call was just terrifying, earning an overall score of 90. Ladies and gentlemen, this is it, the first place. It might or might not be who you think it is. Without further ado, ranking it at number 1 is Bucket Bot. No, I'm kidding. Number 1 actually is Springtrap. This is without question the best character from not only this series, but one of the best characters from horror games as a whole. There's a reason people want him in Dead by Daylight. He has the best design I've ever seen. Look at all that detail, the guts and blood and rusted endoskeleton. It looks so natural. I'll never forget those rare images of him pulling back his mask to reveal the literal rotting human inside of him. And the storyline. William Afton went to the abandoned Freddy Fazbears and dismantles the animatronics. However, the spirits rise from them and scare William, who then hides in an old Spring Bonnie suit, which snaps shut due to the rain seeping through the ceiling, trapping him. Like, oh my god! His story is one of the best twists ever! He scored a 10 out of 10 for design, obviously, a 9 out of 10 for fear. He lost 1 point for his FNAF 3 jump scare, which we all know wasn't that scary. 10 out of 10 for iconicness, obviously. A 10 out of 10 for storyline, obviously. And a 9 out of 10 for voice, earning an overall score of 96. And that was my top 20 FNAF characters. When Security Breach comes out, I might make another one with every character alongside FNAF Plus, the adventure characters, the AR skins, maybe even the movie characters if it's out by then. Seeing how Security Breach development is just going so quickly. Oh, wait, it actually is going quite smoothly. Good job, Skillwell. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, you should check out my FNAF Iceberg and my Parents Guess FNAF Characters video. They were a lot of fun, and I think you'd really enjoy them if you made it this far in the video. Also, if you're a Mario fan, check out my Mario Iceberg, a complete history of Mario mysteries and myths, and the Mario dance game you forgot about. As always, I've been your host, Lil T, and I'll see you guys next time.